What is my opinion about this whole Trump issue then? Well, so looking into it a bit more, I've not really been too interested in it. So I decided to look into it a bit more. So it's this kind of weird period. People don't describe it as this. When I entered one channel talk about it using these words, they've talked about it at length, and they've gone into great detail about statutes and First Amendment. No one said the words, just simply, right? There's a short period in between when two presidents switch over, and now they're basically saying that this period is not eligible for immunity. That's what the court has decided. Because effectively the president does have immunity, but because he'd been voted out, there was then, until Biden takes over, because I've just looked at the Joe Biden president page, and officially he's been president his presidency didn't start until after this date, officially. So who's president? They're effectively saying they don't have a president. That's what they're trying to say. After the votes have been cast, then he's no longer president. Well, either he is or he isn't. What I would say in this situation is that it's their fault. It's the government's framework's fault. If why don't they have their elections? So they have the elections, you cast the votes, and literally, right, the next day, there's out, and the next one's in. Done. What they've done is they've created a period of months where people can be disgruntled. It's like a grieving period, a 2-month long drawn out stretch grieving period where the actual president isn't actually protected or for what basically happens in that period. So they've got a guy, people have cast votes to vote him out and vote another president in, and he doesn't seem to be covered for that period. It seems to me like the very way that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been treated. He's an official candidate for president, and all the previous candidates have been given this, protection, government protection, special forces protection, and they're refusing to give it to RFK. He's having to have his own protection, but they've never denied other candidates historically the protection. So it seems that they are basically denying Trump immunity in the same way that they're denying Robert F. Kennedy protection. Well, it's a form of protection. I mean, if Robert Kennedy, I hope not, but if anything happened to him, and he wouldn't have been protected. Events happened in this long drawn out grievance period between these two presidents, and something bad's happened, and no one's covered for it. Now either he was president or he wasn't. What they're saying is we don't have a president for a couple of months. They don't have a president. So what happens if there's a world war on? Who's giving the orders and commands? If the guy who's giving the orders and commands, if a war breaks out, if he's commanding an army, does that mean that if he'd have commanded the army to kill people, he wouldn't have had immunity for that? It seems a bit silly to me. I think that the whole thing has been staged. It's got to be some sort of set up. And another thing that I wanted to mention, actually, to Robert F. Kennedy, I swear this is the truth, right? I don't know what it's called. I've been trying to find what it's called. I tried searching Google. I watched videos when Donald Trump was president, when he first became president. I saw with my own eyes Donald Trump sat in some chair at a ceremony outside. I don't know whether it was on the top of a building or whether it was on some sort of stage, I don't know. I can't remember where it was. It looked like it was on some sort of building or some kind of ceremonial platform, and there was two females, kind of like I would say that they were probably between 20 and 30, or 20 and 35 ish age, and they had these big like. They were like sort of like bowls, basically. I don't know if they were made out of metal, kind of like fancy, elaborate, ceremonial, like kind of like a big bowl-ish shaped trophy things. And they had this yellow liquid, just like a liquid, which was dyed a yellow colour. It had like yellow dye in it. And they poured this liquid over him. And I thought that was his inauguration. I know it happened. I wasn't imagining it. I saw it. I watched it. And then ever since, I'm like, what was that ceremony that I saw of Trump when those two girls poured that liquid over him? So I was typing in Donald Trump's inauguration or whatever, and there was loads and loads and loads of videos all over, and none of them featured that happening in them. None of them, nothing like it. So I don't know what words do I need to type in to get that to appear. Otherwise, it's like it didn't happen. They're putting things out and then they're making things disappear. So I mean, Robert F. Kennedy, if it likely knows what it is and what it's called, and what you type in to find it. But whatever I'm typing into Google, it's not showing up, and I know that it happened because I watched it happen. So that as well, I don't know what the hell it was, but every single one of his inaugurations, all he's doing is giving speeches and walking around. There's nothing happening like that in any of them unless they edited it out. So I want to know what that was all about and what it was, because I knew it happened, and it was coincided with him becoming the president. So it's almost kind of like they're almost ceremonially doing something similar to him now by putting these charges on him or whatever. I don't think that really, the actions of all those people, if they're his fans or followers, they're going to be disgruntled anyway. I don't see why he should take the blame for it. If he cannot, this is my thoughts on it, right? I don't support Trump, really, because I think he's just another oligarch. My main grievance with Trump is that he's responsible for the government that put the prices up on United States Parcel Service, and it's not fair. It's unjust prices. It should never. If you're sending like a small item, like even like a VHS cassette tape style box, or something light that doesn't weigh much, that is only about the size of a Bible or something, but doesn't even weigh anything as much as a Bible. Why should you be paying $15? It's too expensive. It should be about it shouldn't be over 10. It shouldn't be over 10 quid, really. All the prices that are $7 or $8 have gone now. And you can send small parcels within England for about £3 or £4. So, it's just not fair. And then they lied about, the tax on the delivery service, which you're not buying anything. You don't make a gain from the delivery service. It's like, someone brings it, then walks away. You're taxed on that value of the item. This item itself that you have just gained possession of, it don't matter whether someone delivers it to you from down the road or delivers it to you from Russia. You've just been given an item, and that item's worth what it's worth, right? And part of the delivery service happens overseas anyway. It's not even in this country, and we're not even getting. You don't pay tax on digital services either, particularly if it's charitable. You don't pay for charitable, political, religious or educational things, but we're getting charged for it. Or they're demonetising you. They won't even let you. They don't even want to monetise you because they can't be bothered setting up the facilities on the websites to classify you as tax exempt. The big companies don't want to do it, but they're getting loads of tax exemptions and they're getting loads of tax allowances. Jeff Bezos, but we're not. They're actually taking tax offers when we'd have to pay tax. We're a Group 9 body and not a corporate body. What they're actually doing is all of the little people in the world, the small people who want to actually engage in things that could potentially be powerful, like political things or even good charitable work, they kind of want to pretend they don't exist. And, the big guys are doing the charity work. Oh, yeah, it's, Rishi Sunak's doing the charity work. The Labour Party's giving money to charity. Oh, they're getting all the glory, the National Lottery. When we do a good deed, we're not getting any credit for it, and they're even taking tax offers. It's part of this whole corporate takeover, and you can get people defending Sunak all you want, but it's just pure evil. They're just taking over. They're bossing us. They actually believe that we are servants in life, and then it's what Russell Brand's saying, this politeness, it's the etiquette, They're delusional. They call each other right honourable gentleman, the right honourable gentleman all the time. Everything they do is right. They can never be wrong. And this language they've got, certain words, no swear words, smile, handshakes, all this. But what they're actually doing is robbing us blind. And they're also insulting us by declassifying through ignorance unlawfully, and they're making themselves into heroes and champions. They're writing their own theatre and play and records and history of them being the champions in life, and then everyone else, who does things just, nice and steady, they're getting completely disregarded. And then they're giving themselves tax breaks. It's just diabolically despicable. And this is, it's actually inhuman. They're treating us like cattle who are branded with numbers, and it's wrong. And the thing is, there's actually a lot of character in swearing. There's actually a lot of emotion and humanness in, music like, the Sleaford Mods and things like that, and end up getting kicked out of the Labour Party, Jason Williamson. The thing is that when they are wrong, when they are not right, and it's not honourable because they're liars, you get angry and you have a grievance with them. And then what they're doing is they're removing all available avenues of you being able to get a resolution or outcome. They won't accept signatures on petitions, even when you exceed the number required by 3 or 4 times for referendums. They price you out of legal assistance or help. They take all the tax, they tax you on things that are not taxable. Literally, we are being victimised, and then they take our health away from us. They need arresting, all of them. They really do need arresting. They paint the picture of normal people, to be the villains. Yeah, they're the villains. And then, we are the ones who need to go to court and face criminal charges or punishment when we get angry. And what are we left? What means have we got left to act? Like, these farmers in France who are, kicking off with all the tractor exhibitions and dropping, wagon loads of mud everywhere now, and the European Parliament turning up there, and other rebellions going off that are a lot worse than what are happening in here or America. It's insane that, that incident with Donald Trump, Trump's being held accountable when, there's worse going off in France now with the farmers. It seems ridiculous. I don't support Trump, but, they need to tighten up their act with switching over presidents with less, they need to get the job done quicker, close the gap, in, out. And then you don't have any discrepancies or questionability over periods of immunity or not. You're straight into it and straight out of it. And then there's no question about it. It seems like they put this limbo period. That's their fault. It's the government's fault. I think the government are at fault for creating an extended window period where they're claiming now that he's not covered, which is basically like they're not covering Robert F. Kennedy with protection, which is ridiculous.